What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Out here in the garage tonight working on getting the wiring finished up on the boat, getting the ignition system wired up and the fuel pump wired up, so hopefully we can get power to this tonight and see what we have and see what some of the gauges look like, and see if we can get the voltage gauge to work and see if that's all working like it should, and kind of give you guys an update of what's going on, where we're at with the boat. So I got one more wire to hopefully get hooked up to where it needs to go, and then we can see if we got power or any other see if there's any power going to everything, there's no issues, and going to the boat. So here we go. So right now this wire right here is the only one that's left that I'm working on. So it actually goes to this wire here. So I just got to splice these two together and we should be good to go to set power to the boat. Okay, so I'm having to switch to this end here due to the other one, the other end that I was splicing this wire and this wire together wasn't working. It was too small for it to fit on this gauge of wire. So I'm going to use this end, and then I'll just take this. I got some heat shrink that I will put around it to heat shrink it and kind of protect it, so that way there will be no water getting in there. So okay, just give it the old little tug to make sure that the wires don't come out of there, and then I'll just take and slide this over the connector, and then I'll just get my little torch and heat shrink it. Okay, so this is my little torch that I use to heat shrink Okay, that is all heat shrinked. Now I will run it underneath here. And it will get bolted right there. Okay. Okay, so now for everything right now, I think everything is hooked up and ready to go. All I got to do is hook the battery up. There's the battery. Got it all hooked up except for the ground wire here. Alternator is all hooked up. There's the wire. Temp sensor is right here in the front. And as you can see, I got the plug wires, distributor set in, got the plugs in it. They're all gapped to what we need. And then there is my oil sending unit, oil filters on it. MSD crank trigger is all hooked up. So as of right now, I'm thinking everything should be okay to set power to this. And we check to see what we have. The only thing that I don't have hooked up yet to check it is the fuel pump, which is the ground wire right here. I don't have that hooked up yet. And then if you look somewhere back in there, I do have an inline fuse for the fuel pump, and I also do have an inline fuse for the ignition system for the MSD box. And where... Okay, so like I said, I got the inline fuse for the fuel pump and the ignition for the MSD box, and I do have a toggle switch that will turn both those on. And for both fuel pump and the ignition box, I am running a 20 amp fuse for both the fuel pump and the ignition system. So right now, I'm not gonna, like I said, I got the battery or the ground wire to the fuel pump disconnected for right now. So the thing we're gonna check is the power to the MSD box. Make sure that comes on, there's no issues, and then we're gonna make sure that there's nothing smoking for wiring, nothing's melting. So we're gonna go ahead and give that a shot and see what we have for that, and make sure there's no sparks or nothing. If I sit here and did it the right way, like I did on my red truck over there, everything should be good and no issues. So let me go ahead and get this fuse put in the ignition box, and I'll show you where I got that inline fuse for that one. Okay, so right here is where I got the inline fuse for the ignition box. So let me go ahead and get okay, so it's in there. I'll just put this back over it. And that is ready to go. Alright. So now let's go ahead and hook up the ground wire, and fingers crossed that there is no issues. I double checked all the wiring, make sure there's nothing left off, and as of right now, there's nothing. And the key is not in the ignition, so we should be good. Go ahead and let's hook up the battery and see what we have. Okay, the negative battery post is sitting on there. Looking the wiring over, not seeing anything smoking. And then also I'll show you guys where I ran the wires for the fuel pump and the toggle switch. So if you look close, you can kind of see the red wire, the two wires right there that I have for the fuel pump ignition, and then I have the toggle switch sitting right there. So let me walk around here to the other side of the boat and see if we have power to the ignition box. So there's the toggle switch. There's the red light flashing on the ignition system. Okay, so that's working. It's blinking. As far as I know, I believe, if I remember right on when I did the wiring on the ignition box for the red truck, it did the exact same thing. So as of right now, everything looks good. And what I'll do is I'll grab the key. I'll just turn it to the accessories, to the accessory position, not crank it over, because this thing is not ready to start yet. So let me grab the key and we'll just crank it over, and then we'll see if any of the gauges do anything, and hopefully we have some good news there. All right, got the key. Fingers crossed. We'll turn it to the accessory position, see if any of the gauges will come on, and hopefully don't see anything smoking or sparks, which as of right now, with what I've done, I think we'll be okay. So let's see what we have. Okay, so we're kind of running into a little bit of an issue here. So I'm gonna at least disconnect one of the fuel lines going to the fuel pump, because I forgot. I also, when I cut these fuel lines, the separated lines, I forgot to blow it out. So I'm gonna at least disconnect it, and at least I'm just gonna crank it on for a little bit, just to make sure it comes on and works like it's supposed to, and then I'll blow that fuel line back out, hook it up. And then I need to take a look to see why the alternator gauge, the voltage gauge, is not working up there in the front, and some other few things. So I'm going to hook this fuel pump up, disconnect the fuel line, and then crank it on and see if that works, and we'll go from there. Disconnected. Okay, so that's hooked up. Let's turn that toggle switch on and see what we have. Okay, we have a fuel pump, so that's good. Very happy with that. Everything else is checking out. I need to see what's going on, because this right here is for the 3 pumps that will siphon the water out back there underneath the motor on both sides of the hull. For some reason, I'm not hearing those click on. I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing, something else I need to look into. So that's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. No other issues. I just need to see what's going on with the voltage gauge up here in the front, and see why it's not reading like it should. So that's pretty much where we're at so far. See, I also do have the distributor in here. We had to go with this crab style due to the blower being right here. I can't put the taller one on it. Now, if I had the intercooler, which eventually that will be happening, and this will actually raise up about 4 inches there, and then we could have put the taller one on it. But due to this being this low, we went to this. So we are going to have to pull the distributor back out to install this gear. And the reason why we're having to install this gear on this distributor instead of the bronze gear that's on it, that came with it, is because this is not a roller camshaft. This is a hydraulic roller in this motor. So just be careful if you guys do end up buying a motor from Blueprint Engines, that especially for this one, it is a hydraulic roller. That kind of threw us off a little bit in the description, because at the top part of the description for this, it shows that it says hydraulic roller, and then you scroll down to the cam specs, it says roller. So it kind of threw us off a little bit, but I ended up calling them, the Blueprint, and asking them to make sure, and because I wanted to make sure before we started this motor that we had the right gear on it and we don't end up destroying this motor, because I really hate to have to pull this motor out for a little mistake. So we'll end up getting that part pulled out tomorrow and getting that changed to this one. We already checked. It is the right pattern. It's what we need to go in here. So we're gonna get that changed tomorrow. And then it looks like I got some more wiring to figure out on everything else. But it looks like right now everything's checking out good, working like it should. There might probably be another wire that I'm not seeing that needs to be hooked up. So I'm going to look more into it, investigate more, and hopefully if I can find another wire, I'll get it hooked up to wherever it needs to go, and we should be good to go from there. So I'll keep looking, checking on it, and I am also going to redo this fuel line. I don't care for how this fuel line is ran, so just in case if you guys say anything in the comments, I will be changing this, because this is a problem for being right here next to the alternator and the wire and the spark plug and the header being here. So I will be changing it, and I will probably be running it here and coming out here, and then I'll have it kind of wrap up in here and then curve right here. And then this is the fuel line that runs from here to here. So we're getting pretty close. Like I said, there's the tip sensor. Intake is all bolted down, so everything's pretty much almost done. I just need to I'm going to cut this, and I need to drill another hole to go off of this bolt right here for the alternator bracket, and then finish getting the alternator belt situated. That looks pretty close. So a few more things to do, and this thing should be ready to fire up once I get some other things adjusted. So pretty happy, pretty pleased, and so far so good on the wiring for some of the other things we got. So I'm gonna do some more investigating on the other things tonight, and then once we get close enough to fire this up, I will probably be bringing another video of us firing this up, because right now, since it's the last weekend of the month, it's getting down to the wire of getting this done, because we get about a month and a half to get this done and get out on the lake, because our first outing is going to be Father's Day weekend in June. So we got, like I said, we got about a month and a half to get this done and get out there, and somewhere in there take it over to our local little pond, Cherry Creek, just to drive around, make sure there's no other water leaks around the hull or on the jet, and planes out, runs, keeps temperature, keeps the voltage. So somewhere in between there, go test it before we go down to Lake Meredith, down by Pueblo. And definitely once we get down there, we'll definitely be able to open this up and actually see how fast it is with this motor and the boost that we have it set on. If we do that and it runs a good number, I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to say how fast it is, but I'll be pretty happy. So we're going to keep plugging away and going from there. So thanks for watching. Please, again, like, subscribe to the channel, turn that bell notification on, so this way you can see when I post more videos of the boat and with us out playing with it and all the updates on that. And then once this is all done and situated, I will be bringing this one to the channel and I'll show you this one. Right now I got that trash bag sitting over this because I got the intake ripped off of it due to my intake leaking on this, and then plus I got to get a new fuel regulator. This one's not reading like it should, so I gotta get a new fuel regulator, and I'm trying to decide if I want to stick with the dual plane or go to a single plane intake and all that. I am running a carburetor on here. It is tucked right there. That is the carburetor that I am running on the truck. There's the distributor that I'm running on it. So just kind of give you guys a little update, walk around on this. This will be coming to the channel and doing some things with this. Haven't really done much with it. We did take it up to the Bracket Nationals here in Colorado, up to Benamere Speedway. Ran it up there and did okay. We got one good decent pass out of it, and it kind of started falling off after that. So hopefully, sorry about that. Hopefully once I get the boat done, I'm gonna get back on that. I feel like I can get more out of it. There's nothing really special besides it's got a carburetor intake, that dual plane intake, and stuff on it. But we're gonna I'm probably gonna end up doing some changes on it to get it a little bit more better. So, but that's going to be after the boat gets done. We can get out there and start playing with it. So again, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and we're going to keep striving to get this thing done and get it out there and start having some fun with it. So I'm going to keep going on this, and we'll go from there. So again, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.